What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Out of the Box. It is Gabe Riberio back with another video. We're right around that time of year where my birthday is right around the corner, and I was reflecting on my birth year, that being 1987, and I was thinking to myself, man, there's some really great movies from that year, and I'm wondering which are better than the others. And I had to think, do I want to make that a video? And I did. And that is why we're here today. We're looking back on my top 10 favorite movies from the year I was born, 1987. With that out of the way, let's get into that ranking, shall we? Number 10 is Near Dark. I'm surprised a lot of people don't know about this movie. I think it's an outstandingly awesome vampire western, which is a genre that doesn't exist much. But we get 3 members of the cast from Aliens, that being Lance Henriksen, Jeanette Goldstein, and Bill Paxton, in really awesome roles where they're trying to be a vampire family that's going to recruit this character Caleb. And I think it's really well done, given that it's Catherine Bigelow's directorial debut, and if anything else, you got to watch the movie for Bill Paxton's scene in the bar. It's outstanding. I think this movie is severely underrated, and if you guys haven't seen it, check it out. It kicks ass. Number 9 is The Lost Boys. I don't want to make this whole list about horror movies, guys. It just happened to be a coincidence. It's another vampire movie, but it's one of those prototypical 80s vampire movies that really rocks. We've got vampire punks with Kiefer Sutherland and Alex Winter from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. We've got a plethora of 80s actors: Corey Feldman, Corey Haim, Jamie Gertz, Jason Patric. That aside, we get some really awesome action and a really kick-ass soundtrack. We all know Cry Little Sister. Everybody knows that glistening saxophone guy in the beginning when they're at the beach. I just think this movie rules ass. And I regret the fact that I did not see it until I was a teenager. If I had seen it earlier, it'd probably make higher on this list. But Lost Boys comes in at my number 9 because it rocks. Number 8 is The Princess Bride. Speaking of a movie that it took me way too long to see, I didn't see this movie until I was a teenager. And had I seen it at a younger age, I probably would have had it higher on this list. I mean, look at that outstanding ensemble cast between Chris Sarandon, Christopher Guest, Robin Wright, Cary Elwes, the late great Andre the Giant, Billy Crystal, Carol Kane. Rob Reiner's direction is great. Everything with Peter Falk and Fred Savage is outstanding. Love it. I would dare say that it is probably one of the best live-action fairy tale movies ever. I hold it in that high of regard. I just think it's outstanding. Number 7 is The Monster Squad. Is it an oversimplification to say it's the Goonies meets Universal Monsters? Yeah, but that's also kind of the plot, and who doesn't want that? This movie rules. I'm telling you what, if you watch this movie, you're going to have the song Rock Until You Drop by Michael Sembello stuck in your head. This movie kicks ass. I love all the monster effects on everything involved. It's very much a movie from its era, and it still holds up today. And I can't see a reason why it won't make this list, and that's why it comes in at number 7. Number 6 is Spaceballs, The Ranking. I kid, obviously. We all know the in-joke. I love Spaceballs. It's one of Mel's best movies. Look at that cast. Rick Moranis, John Candy, who we'll get into in a little bit, Bill Pullman, Daphne Zuniga, Joan Rivers. And who doesn't want to see Mel Brooks spoof Star Wars? I mean, come on. Hilarity all throughout. It's definitely a top 3 Mel Brooks movie. I can quote this movie like the back of my own hand. And speaking of John Candy, number 5 is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. You've got the comedic genius of John Candy, Steve Martin, and the king of 80s movies, John Hughes. Put them all together and have it be on the backdrop of getting home in time for Thanksgiving. Where do you go wrong? This is a Thanksgiving staple. It's definitely a top 5 movie of John Hughes. Definitely a top 5 movie of 1987. And if you guys are interested, there's a Blu-ray that exists out there with 75 minutes of unseen footage for its 35th anniversary. You guys should check that out. Number 4, oh man, is Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. I absolutely love this movie. I've always said that the best sequels are ones that can improve on everything that you got from the original and make it just as good. And Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors is a worthy sequel, if not the best sequel in the Nightmare franchise. It's my personal favorite. We get the return of Heather Langenkamp and John Saxon as Nancy and Donald Thompson. We've got a great cast with Patricia Arquette and Lawrence Fishburne. Freddy is at peak Freddy right now with Robert Englund. Before he goes off the rails, I always said this is the best blend of horror and comedy with Freddy. The kills are outstanding, and it's got a soundtrack with Dokken on it. Hell yeah! That is why Dream Warriors makes number 4. At this point, I would just want to look at a couple honorable mentions, just a few that just don't quite make the cut, but they're still pretty great. We've got Beverly Hills Cop 2. Axel Foley's back. It's just as good as the original, yes, and it has a kick-ass soundtrack to boot, which I have on vinyl. Harry and the Hendersons with John Lithgow. Has he done anything bad? I don't think so. And then we got a Yeti that makes friends with family. Who doesn't want to see that? And, just to cover one more, Raising Arizona. Who doesn't want to see a Coen Brothers movie where Nicolas Cage steals a baby? I swear, it's actually very entertaining, folks. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Number 3, man, this got tough. I had to do a coin flip. Number 3 is Predator. One of the greatest action movies of all time. And it has behind it some great creature effects from, let's be honest, Stan Winston, who is on the Mount Rushmore of horror movie monsters. Yes, we've got an outstanding cast of, actually, 2 former governors. Arnold and Jesse Ventura. Plus we've got Bill Duke, who's always great. I love Apollo Creed, a.k.a. Carl Weathers. They make a great ensemble. We've got a really good setting. Even though it's action-packed, I like the scenes where they have to think about how they're going to try to trap the Predator. We've got an outstanding monster design. It's just so great. That said, everything involved, that's why Predator makes my number 3. Number 2 is RoboCop. Talk about one of the greatest action movies of all time. To this day, I still love the effects on RoboCop and Ed 209. I think they look outstanding. And if you guys haven't seen it already, check out my unboxing of Ed 209 and RoboCop. It's on the channel. I think this movie is kick-ass. RoboCop stands the test of time being so transcendent. It's so violent, but yet funny at times. And the outstanding ensemble cast really puts it over for me. RoboCop, 2 thumbs up. Number 1 is Evil Dead 2. Anybody knows me knows that Evil Dead 2 is my 1B favorite movie of all time. The first time I saw it, it blew me away. I thought to myself, I want to make a movie like that. It just looks like the greatest example of friends just making a movie. It also cements Ash as the character that he essentially would be for the rest of the franchise. It is the template of the Evil Dead franchise going forward. I think it's hilarious. It's got great creature effects. Sam Raimi's direction is outstanding. I can't speak highly enough about that movie. And it has resonated with me to this day. I still love it to death. And that is why Evil Dead 2 is my number 1. But that's it for my list, guys. What movies from 1987 did I leave off of my list? Also, if you guys want to see ranking videos from other years, from the 80s, 90s, 70s, I can do them all. I've seen a ton of movies in my day. Let me know down in the comments. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm Gabe Riberio. This has been Out of the Box, and I'll see you guys next time.